Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Nova Rivals. Unfortunately, we have had a little bit of a situation go on, so KJ and Elijah will not be joining us this evening. But as a result, we will be getting quite an incredible man himself coming in to join us. Ginger, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well.
What has been happening on your side of the coin? What has been the flip side that's been going on with you, my friend? It's good to see you again since the qualifiers.
Yeah. We had a good run at the quals and had some fun times playing, but yeah, might not stick to the conf life. We'll see how we go.
Well, we'll see, my friend. Obviously, now going in, we're going to have two teams up against each other. It will be Meow Meow Kitten Squad LFO up against NDE. Now, what do you think about these two teams?
They're both stellar rosters. I've seen roster moves that have made these into much more formidable foes to play against, and I think this would just be a very good match to watch.
Obviously, on the side of Meow Meow Kitten Squad LFO, we've got 9T Jin or just Jin, Face Cream, Karma, Owen, River, and Skiv on the side of NDE. Of course, we have Chem, Half, Infinidium, good old Kiwi chemist, names Dave, and Exquisite. So we have a lot of team members that we have seen before, and a lot of players that we have seen before. And on the side of NDE, during the qualifiers, they were actually able to beat Meow Meow Kitten Squad LFO.
Yeah. Personally, I haven't versed any of the NDE players with the new roster, but having versed Meow Meow Kitten in a scrim, they were definitely good to play against, and yeah, I'm
Well,
happy.
obviously, these two teams going up against each other, it's going to be quite a colossal match and quite a tough match to identify exactly who's going to be the one making some sort of waves, making some sort of win percentile. And that is going to be the main question. Now, moving into the map bans for these two teams, obviously, they have their own sort of setup. They have their own sort of area and their preferred site. Now, once again, I will add to all the new viewers coming in today, Night Haven and Consulate are both allowed. They are both current competitive maps, and they have been moved into the map pool, as you'll see the Consulate band coming up there, and the next one being Night Haven a bit further down. So both of those maps are available for these two teams, and it will depend on what they really want to do, but it looks like we're not even going to be getting them. NDE going to be
Oh,
banning off Bank Chalet Clubhouse in Oregon, and on the side of Meow Meow Kitten Squad, it will be Cafe, Skyscraper, Consulate, and Night Haven. So Border will be the map of choice, and NDE will be taking it on the defense. What do you think about Border for yourself there?
it's a very frag-heavy map. You tend to want to take a lot of ground as an attacking team, but defending, you can be quite aggressive. You can play out your strats to their advantages, but definitely a very fun match to watch. A very fun map to watch. Sorry.
I mean, Border, as you know, it is quite an attacking sort of map, so you expect that playstyle to be quite attacker heavy, especially when you look at the upstairs. And I mean, the basic sort of site control, armory into bathroom, into vent is normally where a lot of these teams go. Some of the times we have seen them actually go all the way downstairs, but it all depends on how these two teams are set up and whether or not they're actually ready to make these positions plays and obviously push for their control as much as they possibly can. Now, we talk about Border.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough map to understand. It's a tough map to gain the control of. What do you expect coming in with these two teams? I mean, you have a lot of experience on the side of Meow Meow Kitten Squad, but for NDE, they may have the strategies to take control of this map. What do you think?
Well, it comes down to operator bans. That changing what operators you pick and ban on this map can really change your lineup, really change your attacks and defenses, make them stronger, make it weaker. And that's kind of what you expect to see in the bans. Otherwise, we'll probably see the main three sites, Armory, Lockers, and Downstairs Bathroom Tellers, and Vent Workshop. But the question is, will we see the fourth site in play at all this game?
Absolutely. It all depends on how they go with these first three sets of sites. If NDE can look to try and secure those first three, it will cause a few issues there for Meow Meow Kitten Squad. However, if they are able to find the rounds that they are looking for, then I can imagine they would be able to easily breeze over it. Now, when NDE versed Meow Meow Kitten Squad, it was on the maps of Clubhouse and Oregon, and they definitely had the ability to just run those games. They were in full control of a lot of the games and in those positions. So it did look like NDE had a bit more knowledge, and as a result, Clubhouse and Oregon were both banned from NDE. They want to push the side of Night of Meow Kitten Sword over to maps that they don't normally play, lest that be, of course, Nighthaven and on Consulate. Preferably not those maps. Too new for a lot of these teams, but we will have to see them later in the season. Now, NDE, when you look at their star lineup, who do you expect to be fragging? I mean, we've got Chem, we've got Kiwi Chemist, we've got Exquisites, we've got Infinitium, Half, Name's Dave. Who do you expect for them to really be looking towards to make those plays, make those openers?
Dave himself is a really good support player, but I don't expect to see him pop off in this match. Obviously, looking towards those main players of Kiwi and Chem and Infinitum to be making most of those plays, because I've known to play against them, and they are some of the stronger players in the league.
Well, obviously, those are the main members that you'd be looking for from NDE. We expect those players to be the ones relieving a lot of that pressure, allowing for a lot of different push potential to be made, and maybe even a different sort of strategy to come in once they've started their game and once they've made the push. Now, on the opposite end for NDE, for the side of Meow Kitten Squad, when you look at their roster, when you look at their players, of course, Jin, Face Cream, Karma, Owen, River, Skiv, they've got a lot of members that they can really play off and operate with. Who would you be looking there?
Karma and Jin, in my perspectives. Karma was brought in somewhat recently. He seems to have made a huge impact on this team, and it seems like that he's going to be quite an influential player here on this team of Miamakins, which I will shorten to MMK for some of the listeners.
For obvious reasons, a good shortening is required. But yeah, no, you're right, 100%. With Karma and Jin, both of those two players seem to play off that aggressive sort of play style. They seem to be the ones that just have the control, have the understanding that they're looking for, and really just gain the knowledge as much as they possibly can to be making those pushes, to be making those plays. And you expect them to be the ones in control of the match. Now, on the opposite end, that's also not to count out the other members. Of course, you can't count out River. Of course, you can't count out Owen. Of course, you can't count out Face Cream. You cannot count out those members there, and even Skiv as well. If they are online, if they are available, if they start playing well, then it just starts running across and running well. Now, as we move into the map of Border, it does start to bring a few concerns here. Who is the team that is more set up? Who is the team that is more ready to make a bit of this play well enough known? And it all comes down to the way that they really approach these sites. Now, first site of choice, what would you say would be the way that they really want to be approaching these sites? What would we normally see in the competitive environment to where these teams would normally go?
Well, you normally want to go with the strongest sites first, but some teams do opt to play those later and take the weaker sides first. So obviously, you probably see an armory site to start. If not, move down to a bathroom, maybe even a vent workshop to switch it up a little bit. Who knows? We'll have to see what happens.
So obviously NDE, they know how to shut down those areas downstairs. They may choose to go straight for that ventilation as well as that bathroom sort of play. And on the opposite end, armory eventually. Normally what I seem to see from a lot of these teams appears to be ventilation picked up first. Not ventilation. Bathroom picked up first as their main sort of choice. Then they move over into armory, get that secured down, and then finally go into ventilation. Sometimes even push in towards the construction. Unfortunately, we will not have any player cams. We have been having a few issues with them on that side of the coin, but it doesn't really matter too much once we get into the game. It's all about the way that these players approach it and all about the way that these players play.
So coming into the bans here, what do you think we're going to see as defensive bans here, Techie?
I mean, I'm surprised to see that knock has been banned. Ever since the knock recent changes, she hasn't been as effective as we used to see, but people still absolutely love to play her. But the Osa ban, that is quite a common ban for the Armory sort of peak. You want to kind of cut off that pressure that is applied by her with those shields. It's very annoying and difficult to get around an Osa that knows what they're doing. On the side of, well, defense, a Valkyrie ban, that is absolutely huge. Fenra as well would be another big operator here. But then again, we may see the Azami come into play, or the operator that we love to hate and hate to see. It is the Solus, and that will be the final ban for this phase as we move into round number 1 for the first floor bathroom, first floor tellers. So they will be going on the basic and normal sort of site controls.
What you also see here is that a Sense is being picked on the side of MMK. And you also see a Thorn and Fenrir being picked up on the side of NDE. Thorn having recently acquired the 1.5 sight on her main weapon, as well as having a shield and being a trap operator of herself. See Infinitum play her on the side. But it will be interesting to see how these operators mesh on the side of Bathroom Tellers here.
Yeah, well, at the moment, obviously, with MMK just having the knowledge and having the ability to play on the side of this amazing map of Border, it is a little bit of a concern for NDE. Obviously, with the past experience of these players, they definitely have the knowledge to play around with this, and it will definitely be a map that MMK are happy to play on. Now, we cannot count out NDE. As we said, they had the ability to run it up against MMK in the last few games. And it all comes down to the way that they really approach it. As name's Dave, he looks to be opening up a lot of the site, but we'll start to see the push coming in for the side of MMK.
To see how this plays out, looks like the attacking side are going mostly off the south side push here. Might run into some issues with some of the util of the defenders placed towards that side of the map. Seems like they know the attackers are coming this side of the map, so maybe a little bit of interaction here. Shield goes out, top of these stairs. Infinity being a little bit pressured, but half getting a pick on Jin elsewhere on the map.
Infinidium looking to see if he can possibly spot out the player sitting far with Jin off the board. It's going to alleviate a lot of the pressure that NDE was feeling, but Karma will immediately trade it back. And now that will slow down the game from once and where it was. So it still looks like things are just going to be a little bit slow here. Infinidium will continue to play on this eastern stairwell as much as possible. On the opposite end, Owen. He's been able to make his way in towards Armory. His name's Dave. Will just be sitting down in Workshop. The one-on-one is going to begin as name's Dave will take a lot of damage. I believe that was from the player sitting ready as Karma and Owen just find the kills on the Kiwi and name's Dave. Well in control of this round so far. It comes down to whether or not Infinidium can find these kills here. He's going to misread his position just a little bit as he runs away. We'll be able to find the first. That's going to be Owen 10 off the board as half will have a lot of work on their hands. Face Cream, however, he's been able to get into sight. The plant is being attempted and will be placed down. 45 seconds on the clock for NDE. They're going to have to start making their pushes here. Karma will find a third. That's going to be a triple kill for him as Infinidium will be the last member available. And it all comes down to the next 30 seconds. 3 to find, all health boosted. Headshots required. And it doesn't look like he's going to be able to find anyone. The jump will be made as Face Cream will be removed off the board. He'll jump in, but immediately caught by the man that's already got 3. Make it 4.
Seems like the attack side managed to get a lot of ground sort of early on. forcing defenders back down towards east stairs, but then slowly picking them off. And the ones having upstairs control will just manage to drop into sight, get a plant, and take the round of that while keeping Infinitum on the east stairs, unable to really do anything for his team stuck in that spot up there.
Yeah, I mean, having the knowledge, having the play style is exactly, and having the experience of playing a competitive player on this map makes it so much easier. And you can just see that with the way that Karma was playing, knowing that they just need to push and find a few kills on the backside as quickly as they possibly could, and it's just going to alleviate so much. Now, obviously, with MMK able to find that first round, it is, as we've always said, an attacker-sided map. So we expect MMK to possibly find maybe 3, maybe 4 rounds on this half, and NDE to try and answer back as best as they possibly can. But I mean, it's going to be a tough one to really answer. That is just the first round. It was on to Bathroom. It was a pretty close round. I mean, they did have 3 members on their side, kind of picked up early, and then it just all ended quite easily and quite clearly. There's now multiple members from the side of NDE, all going to be sitting upstairs half. The only member who's playing downstairs at this current stage. And I mean, it depends on where they decide to push from.
Typically to see teams take the CCTV side of the map kind of early on, but with defenders pressuring it the way they are, it might be a bit of a struggle. But having no nade denial, having operators on the board like Jin with the grenades to try and force these defenders out of these tight spots. Like you see Infinitum here playing on the door, being a bit of a threat in the CCTV area, but to force himself back inside this little cubby, it might limit his options here. We'll have to see. First nade goes out from Jin. Doesn't find much util. Takes off a bulletproof cam, possibly. Have to see how else this is going to play out, because it doesn't look like they haven't made much ingress into the map yet.
Well, no egress really required at this current stage. The idea here for Infinitium is just to waste as much time possible. If you can find that pressure, find the players like half finding Karma, that is a good start to the round. That is the man that dropped 4 kills the round before. But now, obviously, that's going to slow down MMK's push just a little bit longer. They need to find all of these players and angles as quick as possible. But Chem, he's just sitting and waiting for a play to make this push. Face Cream knows that he's sitting there, knows that he's in that position, and is just waiting to see if he makes any sort of movement. A smart thing to do would be to try and Selma as quick as possible, but that's going to be the spot being picked up there. Face Cream is going to be dropped down, and Chem may just look to try and confirm the kill. Luckily, there is a rotation. Owen, he's able to find the kill on the opposite side of the map. 52 seconds remain on the clock as River, he'll start to make his way up, almost taking out his own teammate. Will not spot the back of one player there, but Chem, he'll find 2 for his work. Jin will be able to find the kill on the Chem, but at this stage, they've already lost so much, and name's Dave. He's watching it perfectly. The run is going to go through. So now he knows the 2 players are going to be on the outside. 25 seconds remaining on the board. And it all comes down to this.
3v3 here as the round comes into the last 16 seconds. Dave taking an aggressive position here with a shotgun. All unable to be open. Jin walks in, does not realize Dave's in the corner either. Dave playing his life. Takes down Owen, looking for the last kill on Face Creep. Low HP, Infinitum cleans up. And NDE take their first round of the match. Very nice.
NDE, as we said, man, you cannot count out this team. MMK has done well in the past, but NDE has also done extremely well when they need to be operating around their teammates, and now you can start to see it. First floor bathroom, first floor tellers will be the site of choice once more.
A re-attempt here. Same lineup brought by NDE as well, hoping to get on this round back from the site that they weren't able to take on the first round. Hopefully be able to shut down any of the players early on without letting them gain too much ground. Possibly make it a lot harder for them to defend.
Well, obviously, opening these up makes it a little bit easier. Being able to just give a little bit more to the side, open up the... I mean, giving the angles off a little bit. You can let people take sides of the map, and you don't really need to lose players for it. We started to see that from ND there. I mean, Cam realized that he's able to find one, maybe find a second with his position, and was able to find two, and then immediately decided to regress from the situation. He's got his 2 picks, doesn't really need to make any more sort of plays, and that was the same with Infinidium. He was pushed up all the way into CCTV for a bit, delayed enough time, pulled back again, just to delay as much as possible and not really put himself in a position where he was going to be taken down quite quickly. So with NDE understanding that consideration and understanding exactly how they need to approach this, it does start to make the questions known for MMK. How are they going to be able to make this push? How is that play going to be consistently identified? And once again, we see it there from half. He immediately drops back the second that he knows that his position is under a mass amount of threat. And he can just push back and play off the positions that his teammates are now in. And that's Infinidium to find the kill onto River nice and quickly.
The round before, when they played this site, Ash took out the shield that Infinidium was holding here, but doesn't seem to have done the same this round. Changing up the attack a little bit. Well, 2 people down. MMK might have to get a little bit creative here. See if they can work any sort of defenders out of their positions. Kiwi might be caught here by Owen. Can't get a pick on Infinidium elsewhere. But will Kiwi be able to get a pick here? Takes the fight, loses it to Face Cream. 3v3. Attackers seem to be pushing into the map here, getting control. Karma shutting down half here. 2v3 on the side of NDE. Have to see if this manages to go the attacker's way with 1 minute and 16 seconds left.
Yeah, well, I mean, 3v2 situation, as you mentioned. MMK definitely having the advantage so far, but still, these players from the side of NDE, they can just waste as much time as they need with still 60 seconds remaining on the clock. This one player will be spotted out. Cam needs to be careful of that left side. If Karma can get that push up and that aggression, it will be the end of the round. Looks like it's not going to be available just yet. Owen's going to make the drop down. Kem's able to find him. So already a 3v2 situation, but 2 members from NDE playing inside of Workshop are just able to slow it down completely. Face Cream, he'll make his way in, needs to look for a safe position to put the plant down. Both members for the side of NDE will hear the plant being attempted, and now it's down to Face Cream to look and see if he can make a play. First member that he's going to have contact with will be Chem, and that push is just going to start coming through. He will spot out one, but Chem's got a quad, and that is the round down as NDE. They'll take a second round.
Seems to be more of a good take here from the side of the attackers, but with the setup of the defenders, they were able to play the post part a little bit better. Also, waving off a few more defenders make it down to a much more winnable situation for them, and take the round of replaying a site. Now having to go to Workshop to play the 3rd site of this defending half. Have to see how it goes.
Yeah, well, round 4 onto the board. As NDE once again showing up the opposition team. MMK was just expecting to have the control on this map once again, but it comes down to making sure that every single member can be identified and every single member can be killed off. Right now, Karma is having a very good game. 6-2 for him so far. But he cannot be the only one putting up the numbers. NDE, I mean, they've got every single man except for Kiwi doing so much work so far. 5-2 for Chem, 2-3 for Half, Infinidium 4-2, and Names Dave 2-1. It is just exceptional playstyles coming in from NDE. And Man, I just don't know what MMK is going to do to really change this up. They've got to find these players a little bit easier. And even when they do, they seem to struggle to get the round wins that they are looking for. Chem, he's going to run out, try and see if he can spot someone early. Will not be able to do so. So he'll fall back. And now he'll be the one putting this pressure inside of CCTV. His objective: run out the timer, click it all out and let it go as Chem. He's going to take a lot of damage. And he will look to just drop away. Doesn't really need to continue being a threat with how much HP he has.
Loading new magazine.
And as expected, don't really need to stay there all too long.
You saw a couple of rounds earlier, Infinity was playing Doc here, but they've decided not to play the Doc for this site. So Chem unfortunately can't get into the HP back, so has to play his life a bit more diligently. Try and get some cameras. Taken out by Karma, unfortunately. The aggressive side of MMK started to push more pressure onto the mat, forcing defenders into positions further back, closer to site. The roam getting shut down a little bit here. This might make MMK become a bit more aggressive, try and take more ground, try and take more fights, which might lead to NDE crumbling, or they could find success in this playstyle of playing a little bit slower. Half pitch here in stock, knows Owen's in detention, gets taken down. Owen forces his way further in, cutting off defender sightlines here. Cross. Looks like the attackers have most of upstairs, but still haven't managed to whittle out. Kiwi here, hiding upstairs, hasn't been droned out. Doesn't look like the attackers are willing to take Armory quite yet. But River starting to get some pressure in here. Getting droned out, find Kiwi in the corner. Taken down by River. Looks like it's a bit more attack-sided here on this attack.
It looks like the attackers have started to click into themselves, understand exactly where they need to be making a push from, and where they need to be addressing the members that they haven't been able to address so far. Multiple members going down pretty early to the side of MMK, but they need to start making the push here. And straight off the bat, Karma, he's coming in again, wants to control it all off. Dave's in a bad position. River's able to clean it up, and MMK, even after losing a round to NDE, clap back and answer with a flawless round for themselves as they move in to round number 5.
So to start off, round 5, it's going back. We'll see the defenders going back towards the Armory site here. They had success last time. They managed to actually take this site against MMK, who weren't quite aware of taking this bomb site upstairs with Owen in the corner that round. Also, Karma was off the board nice and early last time they played here, so we'll have to see if the defenders can replicate the result from the earlier rounds. But with the similar lineup being taken, no nade denial here. Let's see if MK decides to switch anything up themselves, or just play the same round, try to make mistakes, see if they can do anything a little bit better to make this round a bit more secured in their favor, making the half either go to a 3-3 or 4-2 for their sake.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, well, 4-2 is what both of these two teams would be looking for, but I have a feeling it might go 3-3, and then it all comes down to the way that they approach themselves on the defender side of this map. Obviously, with these two teams, we expect their playstyles to kind of be the same to a degree. We expect them to have the same sort of positioning, and I mean, their strategy's not really needing to be too different. Jin already making that aggressive play downstairs, just trying to push up as much as possible, needs to clear every single angle if he wants to make a play well known. Now Infinidium on the outside, inside of CCTV, looking to see if he can spot out that player just sitting outside the wall. It will be Karma once again. As the nade, it's going to be cooked. It's not going to be in the right position. The pings will come through. Jin getting every single ping in existence of this man moving, but now it's going to be somewhere and found. Infinidium needs to be picked up. They will identify exactly where he is, but again, he just keeps moving. They
being
can't
slippery.
lock down his position. He's able to pick up Karma as well. Minute 50 seconds remaining on the board, and right now, ND looking like the round is theirs.
Seems like a bit more of a defender aside again. Managed to shut down Karma and River this round. The attackers are barely in the building. Jin's managed to walk his way upstairs, however, but his teammates are too far away to try and get a trade here. Might be able to catch a defender out somewhere up the top of middle of it. The defender is playing a bit more reserved here, knowing they have the man advantage, knowing they need to play it. Jin underneath can't quite use any more nades because he doesn't have any, so we'll have to try and force his way, force a fight, take any sort of defender out to make it all worthwhile. A bit more ground being taken. Expose his position, can't get any sprays to the wall here. To see if, like, can he make anything work? Can he open anything up for his team? Cam shuts down Jin. Owen takes down Kiwi. Trade's coming out here. Face cream left in the 1v4. Down to the sliver of HP, and looks like this is, yeah, ND rounds. Armory being a very strong side for this team by the looks of it.
Back and forth, back and forth. We struggle to identify who is the better team so far. NDE showing up with 3 rounds as MMKSLFO, or MMK as we call it, just seeming to struggle in certain areas. The second that they cannot cut down one of the angles which NDE is on, it just seems to become a pressure point that they exhaust until the end of time and are able to find so many kills from it. Infinidium being the main one starting it off there, as he was able to find a very nice headshot onto Karma early, and that caused a lot of MMK to really struggle to find any sort of presence, any sort of play on the map. But now we're back to the initial site. This site so far has been held quite easily by the side of NDE, and it just all comes down to the way that MMK really approach it. But I mean, what can we say about this right now? Ginger.
They've definitely switched the lineup here and opted to bring K, probably to get that hatch, as they know the attackers don't typically bring anyone with impact EMPs to try and get rid of that K core. So this might change how the attackers go for the site, or they might not realize in time and have to completely change their push with probably under a minute left. This could probably change how this site is attacked and defended, which could lead to ND taking the round here, or perhaps Karma could probably get a pick on one operator here at the front door. Could see how this goes.
Well, you can already see the pressure points that are being exhausted right now. It looks like for MMK, they're going to be pushing in towards CCTV and basically push on the western side of the map, with some of their members really pushing on the southern side. It all just depends on that sort of playstyle. Not able to get the mute charge with the nade. Jin, unfortunately, I don't even think that's going to get it either. The nade is in a beautiful position, but it's not going to be able to get it. So that piece of equipment is not going to be removed, and they will be able to make a play there, as Cam was keen to try and chuck out a nade, but I believe he was breach charged already. And we can start to see a bit of movement being made by MMK. They've been able to secure CCTV. Jin's been able to find a kill as he takes upstairs. But all that gives them is some vertical. And it is the wrong type of vertical that they need to be looking for. Still, Owen being available, soft breach, connoisseur of Buck will be able to open up quite a lot down there. And they need to remove at least one more player for them to start making a push downstairs.
So you also saw a little bit earlier that once the attackers took upstairs, they noticed the hatch was electrified. Both hatches here. So it looks like the vertical play might not be what they need to do here. They probably need to take a bit more vertical, but with the soft reach of Buck, they can get a little bit more damage onto the attackers. Maybe try and whittle it down, make it a bit more easy for them to take a bit of area of waiting room. Cam manages to take a pick onto Jin, evening it up 4-4, but attackers seem to have a bit more of a health advantage. So this could lean in their favor a little bit. Also having the finger here to give them HP. But Karma, seems like the attack is taking a bit more ground here. The Karma spearheading it here. Might be able to get a pick onto any defender unable to get across the site. But they're sitting tight. They're letting the attackers come to them. 25 seconds left on the clock. Attackers are barely pushing close to the site here. Might not be their favor.
Well, 20 seconds make that 15 remain. His name's Dave. He's able to find one. That's going to be a trade back from 401, who's able to find Cam. The kills are going to start coming in quite quickly here as Kiwi Karma is going to be taken off the board. Name's Dave, able to find Owen, and oh lordy lord, Kiwi is able to take out Face Cream, who misreads the position of a Frost Mat. And NDE will come up with the 4-2 in the series, which I don't think a lot of people were prepared for. Second floor Armory, second floor Archives will be the first site of choice as we do go into the switch up. MMK now the ones going on to the defensive half. And so far that we've seen, NDE just having the control that they were looking for, having the understanding and the ability that they needed to find. And I'll be honest with you, it looks like we're starting to see a replay of the clubhouse map for NDE versus MMK. It just feels like NDE is fully in control.
They're definitely not the more aggressive or frag-heavy team. They seem to just play their positions, play the operators to a very good extent, where they get an advantage over that, rather than just managing to run around and kill off the operators, as the side of MMK seem to do. But having a switch up here might change some things up, might turn from a defender side of map, to an attacker side, just by the way the teams may play these sides. As you see, they have vastly different lineups here, which could heavily favor their player styles, and might make the attack play slightly different, maybe into the defender's advantage here. But you can see a slight difference in operators. They're opting to play a bit more tactically here, a bit more of siege, as I like to call it.
Yeah, well, Infinidium will now begin making his push up on this southern side. So they have a lot of this, I guess, potential to push out River. And if they can remove River from his position, makes it a lot easier for them to really gain a decent amount of control on this side of the map. But the things to look at, Half is looking to push downstairs. As Kiwi, he's already been able to get a lot of east control. So that means that now they can start making a push towards this player inside of CCTV. Now they can start looking to push out the players inside of Fountain that have been just sitting there and waiting for some sort of play to come through, as the last bit of reinforcement is going to even continue. But as we said, name's Dave. He can just take all the time in the world to make a bit of movement, make a bit of a play, and it all comes down to the way that MMK decide to make their pushes, but they're giving up ground at a good rate.
You can see this is a slightly different attack to the other side of NDE, as they're opting to take east a lot more thoroughly, forcing the defenders further away, but letting them have CCTV, which could cause for issues. But rather having walked up, fighting head on against River, playing the Zami here in CCTV, doesn't quite have any nade or not either, so could get netted out here. But Kem, walking up 90, takes out Jin in Fountain, could possibly spearhead this attack a bit more, opening up for Dave to get a bit more angles into sight. But there's two defenders back. Archives. First Nitro goes out from Karma, over from top metal, over into Fountain, takes down Kem. Number seems to be evening out trades here. Karma and Infinitive taking kills. Dave taking down Owen. Last defender is Face Creep, stuck in the back of Archives. Do they know he's here? Still got a Nitro in the back pocket, could deny this plant. But it depends if the attackers drone him out. Try to find a pick here, gets droned out. Has to play something here. Tries to pop the Nitro, shot out. Taken down by half. NDE take first attack round.
Well, NDE definitely in control here. They have the ability to just run over these teams if it is a necessity and if they want to, in retrospect. And man, I mean, MMK, they had full control of that round. Karma even putting a lot of them on their back to push them through just that little bit more. And they had the control that they needed, but straight away, kills were coming left, right, and center from the side of NDE. They had the control that they needed for that round, and they had the positioning. And unfortunately, it just kept being opened up there. Infinium, the main member that was able to find exactly what they were looking for. And now it all just comes down to the questions. MMK, you weren't able to hold upstairs. You weren't able to hold your position in a lot of these key areas. What can you switch up now? What can you change? And as a result, they've decided to go for a different site, bring a pulse in as well, which they were able to use to find Chem. Correction, sorry. Karma was able to find Chem with the Nitro Cell from Mozzie. But now they've brought in a pulse to try and see if they can get a little bit more info. It all depends on what they can find within this next few rounds.
Seems like they're keeping the same lineup, except of course bringing in the pulse. Seeing if any different in the attack might be able to give them a pick here. But now we also see the Thatcher being brought in by half. This could make the attack side a little bit easier for them, getting the walls off any of the closed walls. But Armory is not reinforced, so they can take this a little bit more quickly. But they have to be a little bit cautious. Make sure there's no defenders sitting at Armory here, sorry. And maybe they can get a bit more ground early on, but this might lure them into the defenders' nitros. Jin, not with the nitro himself, but can delay the attackers here with these gadgets on the side of Fenrir, which could delay the attackers enough to get nitro. But Infinitiv's walked in 90, no info, Cab's still there. What is MMK doing?
MMK just getting caught out on their push and in their angles. Karma here. That is a beautiful line of sight, and he will be able to spot out one, but it's predicted, and they are able to remove Karma from his little angle as he goes to peak 90. That's going to be Infinidium taken off the board, and that is a huge pick when you started off here. They need to be able to find the picks like these, because picks like that allow them to find the rounds that they are looking for. Karma still looking to get a little bit aggressive here, looking to see if he can find anything else to push his team over the breaching point. Now Cam, he will be removed as well thanks to half, as Karma will come back in. That's going to be Names Dave as well taken off, but the trade will come through. Karma's able to find one. Now, correction, sorry, Kiwi's able to find one. So now they've got multiple members on sites. Nitro Cell is no longer going to be available. Both have been used. And it all comes down to trying to find this one more player or two more players downstairs. They still have the soft breach available. Hard breach as well on Kiwi as they look to open up inside of Workshop. This is something that MMK was not able to do. By pushing out Workshop, they can look to get a clear drop straight in towards the site without having even a small amount of pressure inside of that bathroom section. When we'll move over a little bit, give himself a little bit more room. Half will look to push down on these east stairs. 15 seconds remain on the board, so pressure and play is going to need to be made. Kiwi's drop will be heard. He needs to look to put a plant down. The Fenrir will be activated as the jump in will be made on the opposite end. It's going to be an immediate kill, but the plant is going to be completed. Shotgun in hand, Kiwi, you need to turn around. There's a player behind you and a player in front of you. He finds one. We'll look for the second. Shotgun will be available, but face cream, he'll find the kill. And MNK stay away from match point for one more.
Thatcher here being brought, unfortunately, was not able to use his full potential as they did not bring a Cade to get the hatch. It left the hatch open for the attackers to take, but having delayed so much time didn't exactly let the attackers gain more ground, get any more damage, or the defense, leading to the defense just sitting tight, waiting for the attackers to walk into sight but didn't quite catch the plant as it was going down, as there was a bit of misinformation there from the Fenrir gadget, giving the idea that the plant was going down next to the vending machine when he was in fact in bathroom, which allowed Kiwi to take a couple more fights, almost managing to win against the side of the Pulse with the shotgun. But
Attackers need to
Base Creek
locate
coming from
and
behind
defuse
with
the
his
bomb.
own in his pocket, closed out the round, giving MMK round number 3. And now we see the attackers, the defenders move back to Armory, but this time opting to bring a mirror, which could make this defense a little bit easier on their side.
Bomb located by attackers.
Loading full magazine.
Yeah, well now NDE need to find one more round to put it into OT, and MMK, correction, OT, what am I saying, match point, and MMK just have to try and fight, claw their way back to find every single round that they possibly can. That is a really good start for MMK, however. That will have put the momentum that NDE have been having so far on a little bit of a standstill, on a little bit of a stopping point for any sort of play, any sort of pressure that they expected. Infinidium will look to slowly make his way up, try and see if he can identify someone inside of CCTV. But for now, it looks like a very sturdy sort of setup. You're going to have Karma once again being this character on the roam. As Jin, he'll look to play around these mirrors with Owen as much as he possibly can. Now, on the outside, these members need to just try and slow down the push as much as possible. 2 minutes are still on the board. So, depends on their play.
Depends indeed. River finding the first bit of contact here. Stuck himself in CCTV, but Jin managed to find the first pick on the attackers here. Half gone, Sledge, nades, off the board. This could change it up, but Ken gets the trade back, taking the Kate off the board. River answers back again. This could lead to a defender-sided site. Base Creep asked himself what he was doing wrong in that situation. Of course, Kev taking the fight down 90. Can't quite get any damage. Forcing Karma back a little bit more. Infinitiv's moved further around. Trying to take the CCTV side, being a little bit aware. Volts in. Takes the fight directly, wins the fight against River. 3v3, but low HP. Gets downed. Don't think the defense know about this one either. But they're still opting to face the mirror. Take it on. No Thatch on the board. Can't go into the cake floor. Can't open up the mirror. Have to try and take a head-on fight here, which is a bit of a disadvantage for them. Because Kevin's worked himself around CCTV. Nitro goes out from behind the mirror. Does not find any mark. So Dave having to back off, hoping Kem can either get a res or get some more damage. Manages to find the back of Owen and gets the res and Infinitum. Attack advantage.
And that is the biggest pick that they could have found. Being able to remove that player off of that mirror means they can open up so much and put so much pressure where it is needed. Jin will be spotted out. He needs to move from his position. Infinidium's going to get caught as well. Back and forth go through as now they'll want Jin taken off the board. Karma's able to find one onto Kem. It's a one-on-one, but there's Karma saving his team once again. As MMK, they are still well in control of this series so far. And NDE needing to be careful now. They're starting to lose these rounds a bit early. They really need to look to secure this into match point if they want to win. But it all depends on what MMK are prepared to do.
Very back and forth match here as well, Tiaki. And it seems like it's not as much as an attacker side map as we thought it was. It seems to be a bit more defender sided, which could say something about how this game is going to end out. But can NDE change anything up? As the defense also change up their side, opting for vents here, being the third round. They have one defense in a row. Seeing how this will go differently will be interesting, because this could lead to them losing the site, unfortunately. But the attack might not be able to take the site the way they want to, which could lead to defense taking this round as well, probably rotating back round to Armory or Bathroom Tellers. have to see how this one goes, because I can tell you this is very back and forth. I don't know where this is going to end myself.
5 seconds.
Well, it all depends on whether or not Karma gets taken down in this current stage. Right now, every single NDE member can be represented as a threat. They are able to find kills, find the players, and just open up so much. Chem being the most common out of all of those. But on the opposite end, as we said, it does come down to whether or not Karma gets removed. He has been significantly finding 1 or 2 rounds throughout every 1 or 2 kills throughout every single round. If he is taken out and is not able to find those kills, it just completely demolishes MMK's ability to put some sort of aggression on. And that is me speaking just from what I can view. 2 minutes and 13 seconds remaining on the board as it looks like Kiwi, he's going to look to want to open up in towards this armory. Lockers, armory wall. They will not have any member really set for downstairs just yet. Nades available, but as I said, Karma, he is such a threat for NDE. Half on the outside of North will be taken, or the northern side will be taken out as the shotgun comes into play, but there goes the trade back. Kiwi's able to find Owen, River's able to find Infinitium. So, still a bad side. What was I saying about Karma? As Kiwi's going to be brought off the board as well. Face Cream's going to be able to remove him. It's all down to Names Dave in a 1v3. This is going to even up the scoreboard. And right now, Karma is the man to watch. He finds 3 in the round.
This man's just on fire. He's seriously on fire. Well, I don't know. They seem to just be into Karma. Karma just running around the map. Bit of a monkey here. Just managing to get kills here and there. Running to one side of the map. Getting a kill. Moving around. Finding another. It's almost as if the attackers walk into him. He's leading the scoreboard here. 17-6. Managing to just seem to be carrying the team here. Like I said earlier, he's a bit of an influential player for this team. Being brought in has definitely changed their playstyle. Definitely made them a more aggressive team, but of course it's him just ahead of the pack. Getting these picks, making the defense a little bit rest easy, because they can just sit back, watch him get the kills, and just try and help him a little bit. But on the other side, you've got Chem leading an 8. They also seem to be playing a bit more of a spread kill differential here on the side of NDE. But it is a 5-5 half. But seeing how this is a defender-sided game, MMK might take this.
And I mean, right now you can see it as it is. MMK are just well in control. They've completely turned around all the issues that they were having and have just been able to continuously make the push, make the plays that they were looking for. On the opposite end, NDE struggling to find anything. They're able to find a few kills within the round, but it's immediately cleaned up, leaving them in a 3v1 situation quite consistently. Karma dropping the 17 kills so far. He is well in control when it comes to this round, but as I said, NDE, they just need to remove this one player. If they can remove him, it breaks MMK's ability to put pressure anywhere, any position. It just breaks it completely down. Now, NDE on the opposite end, just losing players so often and so early is just hurting them. They are not able to clear up the angles. They're not able to get the trades off that they're honestly looking for, and it just continues to cause issues. So at the moment, round number 11 comes onto the board. 2 minutes 45, and it's going to be a good round. This will be where it counts.
Opting to pick the Jackal this round as well. Might be able to down this roam potential here, but it's taking a bit of a funneled area, so he's got to rotate his way up to top east. Doesn't want to directly contact onto the side, but like you can see that the defenders are a bit more spread out here, so they could work. Karma getting close could either get or be the first pick of the round. And you haven't taken Karma out 2 times in 2 rounds where they won. seems to be the way that they want to force this guy out. But half on the Jackal, takes down Face Cream, over by Armory. Karma getting a little bit boxed into office here as the attackers take more ground. Gets the pick on Definitive, eats it out 4v4. Getting a bit more interesting here now.
Needs to be shut down. If he's not, that's going to be a huge issue. Nitro Cell will go out, but Half gets the pick they were looking for. And I'm going to call it right now. This round is going to be NDE's. Unless we see something huge coming from the members of MMK. Already a 4v3 situation. They've still got Owen downstairs. He's got no Nitro Cell available, but can still provide info for the rest of their teammates. And right now, Owen is going to be sitting and waiting. Maybe not in the best positions that he was looking for as everything is being opened up. He's going to take a little bit of damage to fall away and back from B site. There will still be one member and he is set up and ready. It's going to be River waiting for this push to come through as Kiwi looking to see if he can spot some sort of movement, some sort of play. 45 seconds still remaining on the board. So we still have a huge amount of time to really identify where these players are going to be making their moves from and where they're going to be positioned. But with 30 seconds remaining, name's Dave, he can just look to start getting a plant down. And in his position, no one can really peek him. River is not going to be able to do it. As straight off the bat, he'll find the first. Looking for the second, but it's two people taken off. Kem and Kiwi able to take down River. And Owen Half will find Jin. And as I said, if Karma is removed, it's NDE's round.
And NDE moving on to match point here could close out the match. Like, will they try and take out Karma, like, all on the road to try and give the round a little bit easier? Or will Karma play a little bit more reserved this round, try not to open himself up to too many defenders, try and play these life to the last 30 seconds, and possibly give them the OT? But defenders now switching it up again, not going bathroom tellers, going Armory here, bringing the mirror, bringing the same setup. That costs a bit of a better round. To see if the attack takes this the same way, or switches it up, makes it better, and yeah, manages to get the picks again, take off Karma.
I mean, as I said, it honestly just depends on what happens with Karma. If Karma is removed, NDE have an easier run for themselves. Yes, it's not 100% confirmed that they will win the round, but it does feel like they have the control that they need to really make the pressure and make the round winnable. On the opposite end for MMK, if they can find or get Karma to find a few kills, it is just a straight up run over. And I mean, with their players in this position, this is what I'm most concerned about.
There's a
Name's Dave, finally, after so many rounds, brings out the shield operator and how much of a threat this man can be when it comes to shields. He can just push straight in, find as much info as possible, get his teammates to clear up the angles that they haven't checked, and identify exactly where these teams are going to be playing on face cream. He's going to take a lot of damage as well. But, man, it all comes down to Name's Dave. All he has to do is make the push in. And no one is actually on this mirror shield anymore.
River can make this a lot easier to take care of the Monty if he impacts the wall open. Finally having done it, but it's a bit late to try and contest the Monty here. Kiwi takes out Face Cream, one of the only defenders inside. Owen now taking up the position, but River fighting for his life as the Monty is something of unexpected here. They have not accounted for Dave bringing his notorious operator. Fending for his life against River. Decides to back himself away. Karma taken down. Monty still on the board. This could probably go NDE's way. They've decided to shut it down here. Decided to finally bring the Monty. Could just try to side. Notices one is back on half wall. But the wall being soft here could probably stymie the attacking Monty. No, one more Nitro Cell left in the back of Owen. 2v4.
Oh, that's
1v4. This must be it. Monty gone down. Can Owen take this out? Can Owen clutch it? Getting flagged for armoring from Archives. Takes down half. 1v2, low HP.
Doable.
Takes down Chem. Or last event, a 1v1 to get his team to OT. Can Owen do it? Kiwi lost standing. Bullets ring out. Nothing done. No damage. Owen, low HP. Kiwi's a little bit more, but doesn't want to use any of his util quite yet. Wants to keep Owen in this position, try to get the picks. Gets the kill. NDE take the match. 7-5. What a last round. Holy.
And what a close round it was. Finally, Names Day brings out his signature operator, the good old Montaigne, being brought into play. And as we see, it does so much, does so well, identifies so many players' positions, and just causes such a massive issue and rivalry. But you've got to give it to MMK there, especially the man of Karma, easily able to run through it. I mean, he dropped 19 kills to keep his team consistently inside the match. But it comes down to their Owen, the last member alive, to try and push Meow Meow Kittens over the board, unsuccessful in doing so. Kiwi just able to kill the player in the last few seconds. So, as a result, Meow Meow Kittens will not be the successful winners of the day. It will be NDE to finish it up there. And I mean, that's the closest I think we'll see any of the matches for this evening. Those two teams are exceptionally well against each other. And I mean, NDE, they deserve it.
They definitely do. I mean, you've always got to consider that Monty. A lot of teams opted to ban the Monty against NDE because they know he's always got to be a threat if he's on the board. But not being banned out here, having the knock banned, having the OSA banned, they've left it open. They left the opportunity for a Monty to come in and screw up an entire round, take the match off them. But Owen almost clutching the 1v4 as well. Solid effort from MMK here, but NDE just being the smarter, being the stronger opponent.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break for now. Before we come back, we will have multiple other matches in play, and they will be Altered Zelios up against Panic, and the final one to end the night, Esfire up against Acme, and that will be a bit later tonight. But for now, Altered Zelios, Panic eSports. We'll see you guys very soon, as we will switch to them after a short break.